It's finally here, week one of the college football season, and we have 10 players that are most likely available on your waiver wire that you need to be putting in claims on right away. John, we talk about this every year. It's awesome to knock out your college fantasy football draft, but if you want to win your championship, you have to win the waivers, and you especially have to win the waivers in the first 4 or so weeks of the season. It's crucial all the way through the season, but you can get some huge return on value. So a big shout out to everybody who watched our rankings episodes. Those absolutely smashed this year. So much good feedback. I know we have a ton of CFF players joining us for the first time this season. We've got you all season long. Sunday nights, waiver wire episodes give you the top guys all season long. And then for our patrons, we've got the special access, the plays of the week video, and that's going to drop every Tuesday. So you're going to want to make sure you hit the link in the episode description. You join us over on Patreon, and you could also get that weekly start sit advice in the Discord. Lots of good stuff. It's week one. It's very exciting, John, and we've got a good lineup of waiver wire guys to help you out right away.
Absolutely. They're not all week zero players. There are some week zero players, but since we recorded our player preview series, things change. Some jobs are won. So we're giving you 10 actual waiver wire players who could help you this season.
Absolutely. So, John, let's get right into it here. We're going to start with the quarterback position, and we do have Drew Mestemaker, who won a surprising job. We thought it was going to be Reese Puffenbarger. So unfortunately, we don't get that excellent name, but we do have Mestemaker, who impressed in the bowl game last season.
Absolutely. And, I'm reluctant to draft players who are in competitions entering training camp because A, you could guess wrong, or two, you have to draft two players on your roster. Most of my leagues, every roster is very valuable. So I don't like to do that. But Mestemaker has won the job for North Texas. He's a gunslinger for the Mean Green and an explosive offense, Matt. If he's out there, everyone, you can easily go pick him up.
Yeah, and we love those G5 quarterbacks, right?
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which, man, we love the armed service offenses here, and you're looking at Dwayne Coleman as a quarterback option.
Without question. Hey, I love the armed services and their triple option offenses. Now, we had a little lull for a couple years, but last year, Matt, with Blake Horvath at Navy and Bryson Daly at Army, they were sensational. Throughout the offseason, who was going to lead the Black Knights triple option? Finally, about 2 weeks ago, we found out it was Dwayne Coleman. Everyone, he opens up with Tarleton State. The Black Knights love to run the quarterback near the goal line. If you have a roster spot, you can pick up Dwayne Coleman.
All right. Maverick McIvor was a week zero player, and that might not count for your fantasy rosters, but it will count this week in week one. And he had a big game, John, over 400 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. Now, he doesn't get Sam Houston every week, but still a really impressive start.
I'll tell you what I was so happy about yesterday. I had 4 of the 5 games on my regional television out here.
There you go.
I watched that Western Kentucky Sam Houston game, and Maverick McIvor passed the eyeball test, Matt. He is a gunslinger, over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, 3 passing, 1 rushing. And I had a draft tonight, Matt, and he went in round 7, pick 8. So Maverick McIvor, everyone, go pick him up of the Hilltoppers.
All right, let's move on to the running back position here. We've identified Jaden Thomas, the running back, UNLV. We've got that Dan Mullen offense. John, what I really like, what we saw from week 0 in UNLV Rebels here, 44 rushing attempts to 24 passing attempts, and Thomas was the big beneficiary.
Oh, without question, Matt. And that was the one game I didn't get to see live, so I had to go do some highlights on YouTube. But Jaden Thomas had 147 yards on only 10 carries and 3 touchdowns, Matt. Now, it was against Idaho State, which is a FCS program. So obviously Dan Mullen schemed up the offensive line and blasted open holes. But you know what? He plays Sam Houston this week. I like Jaden Thomas. Go get him, everyone.
All right, Sam Houston's only 2 years removed from being an FCS program. All right, unfortunately, some of the waiver wire options come by default, right? And we have the injury to Joyner, the starting running back at Texas Tech. He's out for the season. Next man up, it should be Jacoby Williams.
Yeah, and I've had 3 drafts this weekend, and Jacoby Williams is going anywhere from round 6 to 8. So you're going to have to pay up for him if you have a draft. But if he's on your waiver wire, go get this young man. He's 5'10", 180 pounds. I don't think he's going to be your classic workhorse. But last year he averaged 5.8 yards per carry, and he had 10 catches. Also, the Red Raiders play that wide open offense. Jacoby Williams is going to see some pretty big lanes for Texas Tech this year, Matt. And this week he kicks off against Arkansas Pine Bluff. So I have a feeling Williams is going to have a big week.
All right, we like that. John, you're willing to get into the Tennessee running back room. You're going to look at Desean Bishop as the guy who might come out with the value.
Matt, part of what you have to do in CFF to win is you have to make decisions on positions. I've waited all summer for this Volunteers, and it could be a miss, but I'm willing to take a swing here. I drafted him on 2 of my 3 teams this weekend. He's 5'10", 200 pounds. He's a preseason 4th team All-SEC. Last year, he had 455 yards, and he averaged 6.1 yards per carry. I know it's a small sample size, but what I've been thinking about the Volunteers, Matt, do you like the passing game?
Nope.
I have lots of questions. Joey Aguilar is the quarterback. Don't love their wide receivers. There's at least no experience at wide receiver. Well, what does that tell me? Run the football if you're Coach Heupel. So I'm willing to roll the dice on Desean Bishop. Will be the 60% carry guy for the Volunteers.
All right, I like it. Let's go to the wide receiver position, back to Western Kentucky. We talked about we liked McIvor opening it up. Well, his top target was Matthew Henry. And John, what I really like, over 20 yards per reception.
Matt, all day, Matthew Henry was burning the Sam Houston quarterbacks. I actually felt a little bad for them because they kept isolating their corners on Henry, and he just beat them outside the hash marks. And I'll say, McIvor has a real nice accuracy. He laid that ball into Henry. 7 catches, 148 yards and a touchdown. And Matt, in tonight's draft, he went in round 9, pick 3. I was really impressed with Matthew Henry. And if the Hilltoppers are going to throw the ball 40 times a game, Matt, I'm all in.
All right, John, before we get on to our next guy, I want to encourage folks, drop a comment on the video. If you have somebody you want feedback on, curious if you should put in a bid, how much, drop us a comment. We'd love to answer those questions. And of course, we're bringing you CFF content all season long. Make sure you are subscribed. John, all off season, we've been talking about, we like Luke Altmaier. We like this Illinois offense. It's been a question of who is the wide receiver. And even through, the early part of fall camp, we didn't really have an answer from the Illinois beat. You've landed on Collin Dixon.
Yeah, and I had to stop drafting Hudson Clement out of West Virginia. And a lot of my early best ball teams might not be so happy. But the drum beat out of Illinois is very loud for the 6'1", 215-pound sophomore. And you might say to yourself, I don't like the Illini passing game. Well, let me remind everyone. In 2023, Isaiah Williams smashed, and he helped a lot of my teams win. And last year, Pat Bryant, who is now in Denver, and he has captured the eye of Sean Payton, he was also in Illinois. So I want the main pass catcher. I think it's Collin Dixon now.
All right, we've got one more wide receiver here. A lot of eyes on the LSU offense. Sometimes the approach is to take the cheapest guy, and you've identified here Chris Hilton.
Yeah, this has bothered me all year because we've been looking at the depth chart of LSU, right? Aaron Anderson looked like the best guy coming out. He's kind of your undersized slot receiver, and he'll have to compete for catches with Trey'Dez Green, their tight end. And then you look at Nick Anderson, and he missed spring practices, and he missed most of the time last year. And you know what? I've been reading about Chris Hilton, Matt, 6'1", 190-pounder, fifth-year senior. From what the reports that I get, Matt, this young man has been a better citizen, a better locker room teammate. I think Hilton's going to play the X, and I know he hasn't exploded, but the talent is there.
Yeah, a lot of good, positive reports coming out from the Tigers beat, and we're going to get a chance to see him on prime time in week one, right? All right. We've got a little bit of everything for you. We do have a tight end to round it out, especially if you're one of those folks you waited too long on tight end. You want to dive in, try to save the position week one. We're going with Ty Lockwood, Boston College.
This is just about talent and system, right? We know Boston College doesn't have a lot of great wide receivers. Louis Bond is nice, but he's not a big difference maker. Lockwood is 6'4", 245. Played 2 seasons at Alabama. He was a 4-star recruit, Matt, and the 4th-ranked tight end prospect in the nation. So the pedigree is there coming out of high school, and I think the Eagles are going to feature the tight end in the passing game. So if you need one, and it's been hard this year at tight end, I've grabbed Lockwood a couple times late as my 4th tight end in best ball leagues. I like him.
All right, there you go. That is 10 players to target on your waiver wire heading into week one of the college football season. We're going to be with you all season long, going through the waiver wire. But if you want that plays of the week, that in-depth access, the link to join the Patreon is in the episode description. We cannot wait to see you over there and get you ready for those week one victories.